Struggle ends where commitment begins. I was hit with this one today, and I thought it was perfect timing. I thought it was, synchronicity, serendipity, anything along those lines. Because, today is day 400. Yep, you heard me. Day 400. As in 400 days in a row. I have done demanding greatness. For 400 days, I haven't missed. For 400 days, I have dialed it in. And it is the biggest commitment I've ever made to anything in my entire life that has been this consistent. But it was the commitment that I didn't want to be the guy that I was. I didn't want to be, fat and sad and depressed and questioning and worried about where the next thing would come from, worried about the hypocrisy of my life, worried about the story or the narrative that I was leading my children down. I was a personal trainer, a transformation expert who was chronically out of shape, who was at least 30 kilos overweight. I was a disgrace. I wasn't a man of my word. I was a man who said stuff and never did anything about it. And I made a commitment to myself, for my family, that I couldn't continue down that road anymore. I couldn't continue to be that guy. And so I made a commitment to be the greatest version of myself. I started to demand that I was going to be the greatest version of myself. And the interesting part on that statement, and I think it is true though, is that that's not to say that this was easy. That is not to say that this was all a walk in the park. But the struggle of who I was ended. I now knew who I was. I was a man who was committed. I was a man of my word. I was a man who was going to get this shit done. It doesn't mean that this was easy by any stretch of imagination. It doesn't mean that this was just a walk in the park. It doesn't mean that there aren't days that I don't wake up and I don't want a fucking bar of this. No, that's not what this means. It means the struggle of identity, the struggle of what's next and who I am and how I'm going to show up in this world and how I'm going to be for my kids and my wife. That struggle ended. The effort that's required to be great, the effort that's required to do great things, that is an effort that's worthwhile. That is an effort that builds satisfaction and joy and happiness and a life worth fucking living. And I will be honest, and I will be the first to raise my hand. I am nowhere near satisfied with where I'm at. I feel like I could do so much more, that I could be so much more, that there is so much left to be achieved in this life. But none of the things I want to achieve come without that discipline, come without that commitment, come without that consistency of showing up every single fucking day for 400 days. There are still things that need to be refined. There are still kinks that need to be worked out. There are still other areas of my life that require this level of discipline. But for 400 days, I've shown up and been, at least in some areas of my life, the man I know I can and should be. Now, here's the thing that most people don't want to do, and the thing that most people don't want to admit, that when you make a commitment, you need to make that commitment for life. This isn't quick fix. This isn't, dip in, dip out. This isn't yo-yoing these results. It isn't a quick fix 90-day program. We are planning this for life. But you've got to start with what's at least conceivable. Now, I reached out to a guy who'd previously gone through Demanding Greatness. He'd had pretty fucking great results. And at the end of it, he decided that he was good. He was like, no, I'm good. I'm going to move on from this. And I'm like, okay. Like, any particular reason? And he's like, well, I did great on it. I exceeded my expectations. I'm happy with where I've now reached. And we had a harsh discussion. And not to be mean, and I find that a fascinating one, that people think if you have hard discussions that you're an asshole. No, I have hard discussions because I fucking care. I call you out because I fucking care. That I've been where you are. I've made the short-term progress and then fallen back down. And I don't want you to go through that process. I want you to succeed in this. So I had a hard discussion of, well, it sounds like you're settling. It sounds like you've gone, well, good enough. But the problem with, well, to be honest, I think good enough is the worst fucking statement in the English language, but that's a side point. But the problem with good enough is that you stop. And there is no maintaining. There is no stagnation. There is growth or death. There is nothing in between. So when you go, that's good enough, you aren't going to maintain where you're at unless you continue to put in effort and at least inch towards something better. But nobody ever does. Because putting in consistent effort to just maintain, well, nobody does that. It's fucking mental shit. So you need to keep pushing forward. So I checked back in with him, and it's been about 2 months. And shock and horror, he was like, oh, I got a confession, man. And I was like, yeah, what happened? And he's like, well, I haven't done shit since I stopped working with you. And I was like, well, to be honest, mate, I'm not surprised by this. And he's like, what? Really? And I was like, well, no. You didn't get in deep enough. Look, 6 weeks, the initial Demanding Greatness program is 6 weeks. It's a fitness challenge that's going to completely transform your physical aspect. It's going to show you how much discipline you can have. It's going to show you what is possible. But it's just the tip of the iceberg. The real progress comes, the real game-changing comes in the subsequent 12 months. In when we double down, when we go harder, when we find out who you truly are. But that's a hard motherfucking course to navigate by yourself. That's like being dropped out in the bush in the middle of the night with no compass, no GPS, no nothing, and just you and your wits, and it's like, well, figure it the fuck out. Yeah, you might be able to do it, but the chances are pretty fucking slim. Or you can stick with me, and I will give you the exact fucking blueprint. I will map it out completely and perfectly for you. I will have the hard conversations with you. I will guide you through those tough decisions, those tough conversations, because you will want to quit. You will want to call it. It's not easy. This is a hard decision, but it's the greatest fucking decision you'll ever make in your life. But the struggle ends when commitment's made. And especially when you make commitment with skin in the game. We've spoken about it many times before, that I've shared the majority of Demanding Greatness on here. I've given you 400 episodes of this with exact blueprints of what I've done. I've walked you through as I've gone through this process. I've given you everything. It's all there. You know, anything you want is out there if you're willing to do the work. How to make money, how to have a better relationship, how to get in shape, how to be a disciplined man, how to build the best of your life, how to demand greatness, all of it. All of it's on the internet for free, in some aspect or another. The problem is, most people don't commit. Most people aren't invested. Most people don't have skin in the game. The struggle ends when commitment begins. And often, the first real sign of commitment is, well, putting money where your mouth is. Ponying up and being like, well, I'm fucking in. I'm fucking ready, and I'm going to do what is required. And then you need someone to hold you accountable. Like, I talk about this all the time. This journey is hard. This journey is downright brutal. And on your own, without someone to hold your feet to the fire, to make you accountable to what needs to be done, the chances of you actually following all the way through are slim to none. It's just the reality of it. Like, because, well, you're not that guy at the moment. And that's not a knock, that's not a dig, that's just a reality check. That you, in your current iteration, are not the man who's gonna, well, sacrifice all the niceties in his life to do what is required. That's normal. That's the status quo. That is your average dude. But we aren't here to be fucking average. We aren't here to settle for good enough. We are here to demand greatness and be the greatest version of ourselves. But you need people along the way to hold you accountable to that. You need people to raise you to the higher standards, to help you, well, overcome, because you are literally changing your personality. You are changing who you are. You are stepping into the greatest version of yourself. If it was simple, well, scratch that. If it was easy, everyone would fucking do it. But it is damn simple. It's just about committing all fucking in and then showing up and then showing up and then showing up and then showing up for an incalculable number of days. When I first started, I bombed it. I think 6 times before I got past a month. Some of those times I didn't get past a week. I got to the weekend and I was like, fucking food, bitches! It wasn't easy. It was a fucking nightmare, but I'd hit rock bottom. And I was so disgusted with myself that I managed to claw my way out of it by myself. I would have gotten there a shit ton faster if I'd had someone to hold me accountable. I built this program because this is what I wish I'd had access to when I was pulling myself out of that hole. When I'd hit the rock bottom and I was looking up and I was like, I cannot continue like this. And I had to claw and fight my way out of there. You know, we're here 400 days later. And I'm damn grateful for every battle, for every fight, for everything I had to overcome. But it would have been so much faster, so much simpler with someone there to hold me accountable to those standards, so someone there to push me forward and give me the fucking blueprint. So don't waste the time and effort and the money that I wasted trying to do it on my own. Let me give you the fucking blueprint. Let me show you the exact path. Let me continue to tweak and correct it, because this program gets better all the time. As I go through it, as other men go through it, as other people who demand greatness go through it, the program gets better and better and better. So you're just benefiting from the wealth of knowledge, from past experiences, from overcoming. That's a fucking win. Don't waste your time doing it. The whole point is you pay someone to shortcut you. But as I said, it also gives you commitment. It gives you, because struggle ends when commitment begins. It gives you skin in the game to actually fucking do it. It's really easy to talk a big game when you've got nothing on the line. When you've got nothing to lose, when there are no consequences to you not doing the work, well, it's really fucking easy to be like, yeah, I'll do that. Today was a bit rough. Today wasn't my day. I don't really feel like it. No, when your back is against the wall, when you've gone all in and you've got everything on the line, or money or pride or whatever the fuck it is, well, yeah, shit. Then things get done. Then you commit. Then you actually see the results. Then you get the work done. Because, well, you have a reason. Look, you shouldn't need skin in the game. You shouldn't need to put money on the line. You shouldn't need something else other than you fucking hate the man in the mirror. Like, let's be realistic here. If you were disgusted by the man in the mirror as I was, if you were ashamed to be the father that you were, if you were ashamed to be the husband that you were, like I was, that should be enough of a fucking reason. But yet, it's not, because, well, As I said, how many fucking times did I try and fail? How many times have you tried and failed and not got it done? It's clearly not enough of a reason. So, let's give another reason. Let's put something on the line. Let's get you invested into your own fucking success. And then do the work. And just keep showing up. And showing up. And showing up. Because struggle ends when commitment begins. But you have to commit for the long term. You have to commit more than just, I'm going to do this for a couple of days or a week or 6 weeks or whatever it is. That's just the beginning phase. That's the tip. That's just getting it a little bit wet before we go all in. We have to continue to do the fucking work. We have to keep showing up. We have to win the fucking day over and over and over and over again. When I began this process, the concept of 400 days was so abstract. It was such a novelty. Like, I'd never dreamed I would get to this point. 400 days. Like, the fuck? I just wanted to win day 1. And then day 7. And then day 28. And I just kept stacking the wins. So you can't put it all the way down the end because it's too hard for your mind to comprehend. But in the back of your head, you need to have something that I am all fucking in. I am demanding greatness of myself, and I am going to get this shit done. I'm going to. No matter what the cost is, no matter how hard it is, I am going to get this shit done. End of story. And when you make that commitment, your struggle will end. You'll now have work to do. You'll have shit to do. You'll have to commit and give effort and intensity and consistency. But the struggle will be over because, well, now you're just committed to what is required. You're committed to doing the work. You're committed, well, to winning the day. And then the next day and the next day. You're committed to demanding greatness of yourself. And it's not just for you. It's the one I always come back to. It's not for you. Sure, you get to reap the rewards. Sure, you get to taste the benefits and enjoy the outcomes. But this shit ain't for you. It's for your kids. It's for your wife. It's for those who love you. It's for those who care and adore you. Those who support and believe in you. It's for those who have put their faith in you. That you need to reciprocate. You need to do what is required. You need to show the fuck up and make sure it gets done. Because they deserve it. They deserve the greatest version of you. So you need to act like you're the greatest version of yourself. And every single day that you are winning the fucking day, that you are doing what is required to be the greatest version of yourself. That is what we are here for, my friend. That is what we are doing. Because, well, they deserve it. They deserve that you commit all in, that you end the struggle and begin with commitment. You show what you are worth. You show that you are worthy of that faith, and you do what is required. And you just keep stacking those wins. And you stack them over and over and over again. And you will be shocked at where you can end up. You know, as I said, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. But I am damn proud of how far I've come in the last 400 days. Do I think I could have given more? The answer is absolutely a resounding fucking yes. Do I think I could have and should have delivered more? Again, the answer is a resounding fucking yes. But compared to the fat sack of shit that I was ashamed of to look in the mirror, that I was ashamed of to see that, you know, my children and my wife look at me, compared to that version, night and day. Different fucking man. So I keep showing up to be the greatest version of myself. I keep showing up to demand greatness of myself. And I have to keep redefining my greatness and demanding more of myself because I can't settle for good enough. I have to keep pushing the envelope. So if you're ready to finally step forward and be the man that you know you should be, to step into the guy that you know that you can and should be, Click the link in my bio. Get into demanding greatness. We're going to be starting shortly, the next round. And let's see who you can become when you start demanding greatness of yourself, when you're held accountable, when you're given the exact blueprint that's going to transform your physique while teaching you mental toughness, building discipline, and becoming a man of your word. Not for you, but for those who love and adore you, for those who've placed their faith in it. Struggle ends where commitment begins. So it's time to get committed, to start demanding greatness of yourself. So click the link in my bio, and I will see you there.